Hello and welcome to Hot Flashes and Cool Chats. So, I started these conversations because through my work as a midlife concierge and building my community, Mamas in Menopause, I am meeting so many amazing people who are passionate about supporting women through all stages of life, including midlife. This chat series is about my way of introducing all the people that I'm meeting to you. So you can hear their stories, you can get to know them personally, and you can learn about their products, their services, or the resources that they can offer to make this season a little brighter, a little easier, and a little bit more empowering. So today I'm chatting with Sami Garrett. She is the founder of GEM, and it is the only global motherhood collective and resource library redefining what motherhood support looks like through every season, through their mind, body, heart, and soul. So, wanted to hear a little bit about Sami, who you are. First, I wanted to find out GEM, because I know we talked about that briefly. Tell me a little bit, what does GEM stand for? And welcome. I'm so glad you're here.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. I'm so excited to chat with you and your community. And yeah, thank you for having me. So GEM stands for Good Enough Matrescence, which good enough is what we aim for. It's like the baseline. You know how some people are like, oh, that's like, it's just good enough. Like, I can never get anything better. Here, we're taking good enough as the floor. It's like, this is good enough and it just gets better from here. And yeah, I make mistakes and yeah, I can repair. And like, I am just living good enough, like from a very empowering point of view.
Yeah.
So good enough. And then matrescence is our journey in and through motherhood. So literally like the moment that you start to identify or want to be a mother or you get pregnant, depending on like what comes first, but that one spark where motherhood starts until death, we are in matrescence. So it's similar to adolescence to where chemically, biologically, emotionally, spiritually, like every ology changes from prepubescent through adolescence. The same thing happens in motherhood. Once you enter into matrescence, you're never going to be pre-mom ever again. And
Mm.
same with then you go through menopause, like same thing. Like you enter into menopause, you're never going to be like pre-menopausal. Like now you're in it. So it's very much the embodiment of from the beginning all the way to the end of motherhood with that good enough as the baseline and being really
Mm.
empowering. So we
Mm.
call it GEM for short.
I love that. And here's the thing is when you enter into motherhood, I think you get this feeling that you have to be a certain way. You have to be perfect. You have to do this. You're almost keeping up with the Joneses in so many ways. And granted, my kids are older now, but I do remember when they were younger and you just felt like you were always being judged. And
Yeah.
guess what? We are good enough. No
Yes.
matter what we're doing, we love our kids.
Yeah.
That's good enough. And
Mhm.
even as they get older, right before we recorded, my younger son was, leaving off. I've got one off in college and one here at home. And, we've done something right. We joke around sometimes. I always think like, I didn't mess them up, you
Yeah.
know? And it's so empowering because I think that is you are good enough
Mhm.
in every stage of life as long as you are just doing it with your heart. That's all
Yeah.
that matters.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I love you. So, what inspired you to create GEM, and how did your postpartum journey shape this mission?
Yeah, it was entirely my postpartum journey.
Mm.
So leading up to postpartum, I have a personality of if I'm not sure of something or something's kind of scary and unknown, I dive into the research and try to learn about it from every single aspect that I possibly can. So before getting pregnant, it really starts with that. Before getting pregnant, I went on my own healing journey, reparenting journey, inner child healing, trying to learn about how to be a parent because I didn't have great role models. And so I knew what I didn't want to do, but I didn't know how to do it. So I just dove into child development, child psychology, mindfulness, presence, a little bit into the nervous system, which I dove into a lot deeper my second postpartum, but starting just collecting this information like what is birth and what is pregnancy? How could you do it in the most healthiest empowering way? How can my experience be really empowering? Just learning everything I possibly could. And then I entered my first postpartum, which was relatively normal, I would say, compared to like, what textbook says, like, yes, hormone drops. Yes, I was crying. My nipples hurt. I sometimes really missed my old life. I didn't know if I just made a huge mistake. How was I, all of those normal things. And because those in my mind were like really normal, I was like, well, people only need like help when they have depression or anxiety or OCD or like there's an issue. And I'm like, I don't feel like there's an issue. This is just normal. And it wasn't until my second postpartum that I developed postpartum rage. And it was really scary. I didn't have it with my first. And that really pushed me to finding a healing and finding answers and finding solutions and realizing that I wasn't broken, that there was nothing wrong, and that really the anger and the rage was information telling me how I was undersupported,
Mm,
underslept, undernourished, like overstimulated. I had a toddler and a newborn. Husband is back at work. Like there's so many things going on that it manifested into rage, which then made me take a real deep dive into more of nervous system regulation and how closing the loop and how our inner child and our subconscious create these stories from when we were kids and how then that plays out into our parenting and deep diving into that. But really the underlying message that I kept getting was that I'm not broken, nor is anybody else who is experiencing like rage, anxiety, depression, any of that. Like it's all just information. But I was in survival mode for a while, for like 8 months, trying to heal, trying to figure out why I was yelling. Like I didn't like yelling and it was explosive, and I had to figure out what my
mm,
triggers were. And coming out on the other side of that was really what pushed me to start GEM, where I realized as moms and as women, especially, we have to advocate so hard for ourselves and we don't know what
right.
we don't know. We just trust whatever providers are telling us, not doing our own research. And some of it's amazing information, some of it is lacking a little bit. And I hear this from a lot of people that then I talk to. They have their first pregnancy, their first experience, and then they do it completely different the second time around because of
Yeah.
how their experience went. But I really wanted there to just be this place and this space where we could come together as moms and find the resources that we need when we need them without piecing them together at two in the morning
Mm,
or trying to I know I talked to one person, they're like, I just save a bunch of different TikToks and Instagram reels and I try to
mm,
like figure out what would be helpful for me in this time. And it's so time consuming and we're already busy moms and
mm,
the community aspect, a lot of people have it and it's amazing. But a lot of us don't have that community anymore. And so I wanted there to be this space where we could just step in, find the resources that we need, but from a very collective way. Like yes, I may teach yoga and talk to you about mental reframes to help you in motherhood, but we have pelvic floor physical therapists, we have NICU nurses, we have sacral cranial therapists and doctors and pediatricians. Like we have a whole bunch, somatic practitioners, like so many different people inside. So where you can just step inside and really figure out what you need and also be able to connect with other moms. Like I was talking to you and yeah, our kids are different ages, but like, let's say I was in the NICU for a while and
yeah.
I'm not around anyone who is, and so I'm really feeling like very lonely, very isolated and I'm just in it and I'm lost in it. And then here you are, years past it, having experienced it, being able to be like, hey, let me hold your hand, let me walk you through this. Yes, cry with me. I get it. It's hard. And we wouldn't be able to have experienced that little magical moment had both of us been living on opposite sides of the world, not connected. Like you're in like a menopause community, let's say, and I'm in a NICU community because that's where I am in life. But like that magical moment really just helped me. And so I wanted there to be a space for that as we really oscillate in and out of all the different seasons of motherhood from the very beginning until the very
Yeah.
end. Um,
That is so powerful that you're saying this. And it's so interesting because everything that you're saying resonates with me as a 50-something-year-old woman. And I wish my 30-year-old self would have had this
yeah,
support that I needed. I know for me early on, I had brain fog, I had all this stuff going on, and I didn't know what was happening. And like
Yeah.
you said, you go to your doctor and your doctor directs you to this person or that person, and no one is really addressing that you really need number one community and you need really good resources within a community that's talking because you find out that people are in the same place as you are.
Yeah.
Maybe they have similar symptoms or similar thing going on in their life, but it's those resources that they really can
Yeah.
share with one another. So life has not changed, and the needs of women in matrescence
Hmm.
doesn't change from when you're 30, 40, 50, and 60 and beyond, of course. And it's just interesting that I think our lives are very parallel right now. You being in a certain age and stage of childhood and rearing kids, and me in a little bit different, but it's so similar what's going on. Hormones are changing, our bodies are changing, our lives are changing, and we need
Always.
community first
Yeah.
and foremost, and we need really good, reliable resources. So I love that you do that. And I love that women now are getting support at younger ages because
Yeah.
by the time you guys are in menopause,
Yeah.
your nervous system is going to be regulated. You're going to be comfortable in your own skin and your own body. It's just changing the way I think we're going to be experiencing midlife and life at this stage. Tell me
I'm
a
so
little bit about
excited.
your community. It's so
Yeah.
exciting.
And I just wanted to say I'm really excited for that because yeah, you start now and I'm 38, I think. So
Mhm.
definitely I'm seeing the signs of like perimenopause, even though like I wouldn't be diagnosed as that yet, but I can feel it, I can see it. Um, and yeah, I just love that you said that because starting now, recognizing that this is normal, this is something that every single woman goes through. By the time
Right.
I hit my mid 50s, I want to be like, yes, like I'm having the hot flashes. This is
Yeah.
amazing. Like, so I'm really excited for that. And I wanted to add just one more thing too that
Yeah.
you said because when I had talked about my very first postpartum being like, this is normal. I'm supposed to feel like I miss my life. I'm supposed to feel these baby blues. I'm supposed to do all of this. That in my mind was like, okay, so I don't need community because this is normal. And I've really been thinking a lot about that recently, looking back, being like, oh, wow, I was in a place where, like, when I had rage, I was like, there's a problem, fix it. Even though there wasn't
Mhm.
a problem, it was just information. But that was what
Right.
got me wanting community. But when I really think back about it now, being like, whoa, community would have been really amazing just to be able to be like, hey guys, I just want to curl up in a ball and like pretend my baby disappeared. And I'm missing the fact that I used to get to stay up until midnight and watch Netflix with my husband and cuddle. And now my boobs are leaking and bleeding. And, again, yes, normal things that we just don't really share in community so much. Some people do if you have mom groups and circles and things, but I would say for the most part, like it's pretty rare to have that. And yeah, thinking about it a lot recently, thinking that like, whoa, that how do we help build like community before you're forced to find community because that like preventative stuff or even just the encouragement while you're in it, the love while you're in it, like I didn't
Yeah.
think I needed. And now looking back, I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, I did need it. And I think every single mom needs it, even if we're
Well,
like, no, this is just normal.
agreed. And going back to your good enough, right?
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if we talked about it. So the things that we thought would be make us vulnerable.
Mm,
Maybe we weren't producing milk. Maybe we weren't feeding our baby the perfect, maybe we opened a jar and we were embarrassed that we fed our kid in a Gerber baby, food. There were so many things that I think we didn't talk about that
mm,
we thought that other women would judge us.
yeah.
And now I love that you can. And I want to say it's the same thing going into menopause. People didn't talk about hot flashes. People didn't talk about brain fog. People didn't talk about the symptoms they were having because they felt like someone would judge them
Yeah.
because they were experiencing it. And I'll be honest with you, we're learning more and more that the more your nervous system is regulated
Mm,
and the more you think about menopause as a time in your life, a chapter in your life where it is a rebirth, it is a space of wisdom. We are finding that people are not experiencing the symptoms
Amazing.
quite as dramatically. I'm not saying not at all. Obviously, our body has natural chemical changes, but it's how we're perceiving menopause. It's how people are perceiving motherhood.
I
And
love
I
that.
think the more positive we're thinking about all these different stages, I think we're just going to get through it with
Yeah.
empowerment, more enlightenment, more joy.
Yeah.
And
So much so.
and you're right, community. I think you always feel like you're searching for community. You're searching for something when something is wrong, like you said, the rage, as opposed to let me
Yeah.
find people that are all in the same space together,
Yeah.
even when things are good. Let's share the good stuff too.
Yes. Yes. Oh, so much more of that. And I know you
Mm,
had a question about the community, and
yes.
yeah, it really is just that coming together and sharing of the good stuff. And I know, especially for like my generation, probably, are we in the same generation? I feel like we are. Maybe
I'm
we're
a
not.
Gen Xer. I was
Oh,
born in the 70s.
okay, so millennial, but probably I feel like it started with your guys' generation, or maybe even like your parents, but this whole idea of like women being hyper independent and not needing help. Like
Mm,
we can do everything ourselves. We can do everything men can do. We can do everything
yeah.
women can do. We're like so independent. And I think that's really killed our community. Because we
Mm,
don't, if we say like we're sad, or unless you're happy, but even then sometimes you don't even want to share when you're really happy because you feel like maybe that will hurt someone else's feelings who isn't happy
yeah.
right now. But you definitely don't want to share when you're sad or when you're annoyed, or people will then throw you, or you think people will throw things like, well, you should just be happy because you have the roof over your head or whatever. So we've really kind of
Mm,
locked ourselves away from community. Even when we have it, I feel like we're not honest and open about what it is that is actually true for us in this very moment. And that can be so maybe it's the connection that we're missing. Maybe not even necessarily community, but it's that connection within community. And when we can have that really honest, open dialogue without that judgment, we have that connection, and you don't need connection with 5 million people, but just true, real connection is so
mm,
healing for the soul. And that is what we aim to do inside of our community, is being able to show up and be like, I'm having a fucking amazing day today. Like, I am so regulated. I've had so much fun with my kids. I had this goal of being more playful, and I was. And people could be like, yeah, you go. This is amazing. Tell me what you did. Like, help me. I want to be more playful. Or you could come and be like, I cried all night. I didn't sleep. I yelled at my kids. My teenager started screaming at me and slamming the door. So I said, F you. And we got into it. And I hate that. And I feel so bad. And being able to have people be like, I get it. I've been there too. Like, oh, let's
mm,
give you a hug. Like, just real honest connection without
mm,
that judgment. Because I think when we start to place that judgment on it, we then have this definition of what is good and bad and right and wrong and acceptable and unacceptable. And if we could just remove that judgment, we free up this space to where you can formula feed, you can breastfeed, you can bottle feed, you can McDonald's feed. I don't know. You can do all these things because there's no definition now. It's just what is working for you. And if it's not working, let's figure out how to make it easier and be able to do that in a very connected way. So that really is the baseline of our community, is being able to accept and encourage moms into creating more joy and not being ashamed when we are having really good days. And so I think there's a lot of isolation in that too, where I've run into moms, they're like, no, I love motherhood. And I'm like, great, come and be like a part of this community, because we're all on this journey of loving it. And some days we love it. And some days we don't so much love it, and that's okay. But just this energy of like, let's bring more joy. Like, I'm doing it my way. I feel good. But there's a lot of isolation in that too, where you're like kind of afraid to share that you're actually having a great motherhood. So it's
mm,
really just this space for all of it. And the underlying premise is like, let's bring out more joy, more connection, more peace, more presence in
mm.
all the things, the good, the bad, the ugly, the all of
Yeah.
it.
I agree. I know for me, I love empty nester, being an
Yeah,
empty nester.
love it.
I love it because really I see my kids thriving and I see them happy and it makes me know that I did something right. And it's so interesting because we do everything, all motherhood, to raise our kids to
Mhm.
be independent
Yeah.
young humans. And when they actually are, we should be proud of that.
Yeah.
I do, you do miss the little moments. You do miss the little cute booty moments with the little diaper booties, or
Yeah.
you see little photos and you're like, oh my gosh, I miss those times. But,
Yeah.
and that, I want to, embrace and enjoy those little moments, but remember those. And as they're growing up and leaving the nest, it's really
Yeah.
fun. It brings you back to, if you are in a relationship, to that partner of yours. And it's beautiful. So I'm enjoying that.
And it's
Um,
cool too that like you have a relationship with your kids for years and years longer than like raising them, like from them being little kids. So it's almost like
yes.
you got to that point and now you get to have these beautiful adult relationships with your kids. And
Yes.
yeah, it's really cool. I
Yeah,
love
it's
that.
it's it's really fun. Every stage I've absolutely loved it, and I've been okay with each stage, almost like commencing, like you get to the next one and now you're off to the next stage of life. I love it so much. How do people become part of your community?
Yeah, it's a membership base, so either monthly or annually. And we're actually, depending on when people listen to this, coming December, so 2 months from now, December of what year are we in? 2025. So coming into 2026, we will be in an actual app. Right now, we have Slack is how we communicate with everyone, and then we have our membership platform where you have access to all of the different resources. But it will be transferred into an app at the end of this year. So just depending on when you listen to it, it may be an app or it may be not. Either way, it's still a membership and you can still access it through the website. But yeah, that's that is how, and we're
That's
global at the moment. We're looking to do more in person. So right now we have a lot of virtual meetups, which is great. You can meet people from all over. But we'll be creating more in person, like local chapters too. So that is also coming to have
wow.
more in person.
It's
And
needed. If you
yeah.
build it, they will come, right?
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I love that. Tell me a little bit about, because I feel like this could be a question for any woman at any time, like when they're feeling that overwhelm or that disconnect. I don't know, what's a simple, compassionate action that you can give advice to women who
Yeah.
are listening to this?
Ooh, I love this question. There are so many. And I say that there are so many because we're all so different. And like what I'm just even thinking like what works for me in certain times. Like sometimes I'm overwhelmed. And for me being overwhelmed, like I'll take a step away. I'll place my hand on my heart, close my eyes, be like, I'm overwhelmed. Like I'm here with you. Like what would feel like love right now? What does my heart need right now? Maybe it's a step outside. Maybe it's to go make yourself a hot cup of coffee and just like hold the warm cup for a minute. Maybe it's to read a book for a minute. Maybe it's some breath work. Take 5 deep breaths or dragon breaths if you've got more of that energy and you're like, I'm really frustrated right now. Like being calm isn't going to work. So maybe it's, oh, let me just turn on some music really fast. I'm just going to dance it out for like one song. Maybe even you don't even need a whole song, but like just turn on some music. Or maybe it's like I think a lot of bringing in some mental with the body and the movement is the best thing that you could do in the actual moment because we have these feelings and our feelings are really just our nervous system trying to get our body to do something. And so when it comes to like anxiety is usually a worry about something that hasn't happened yet. And so being able to just bring yourself back to the present, like, okay, what problem do I have right now? Oh, I don't have a problem right now. And that will help calm you down. Or if you're stuck in that overwhelm, like this shouldn't be happening, that shouldn't be happening, all of these shoulds, I think it's really, really important and really valuable to pause for a second and be like, no, this should be happening. My kids should be fighting. My teenagers should be yelling. I should be feeling sad right now. And just saying like, no, I should really like you can almost feel your shoulders drop like, oh, okay, this is okay. So now
Yeah.
can I move through this? And I think that's a really powerful one. Like, even if you're
Mm.
overwhelmed, like anything actually, like that might, maybe that would be my top one to say is to be like, I should be feeling this way. And that just helps calm you immediately to
This is
then you
okay.
say, what is it that could support me right now in whatever it is that you're feeling? I think that's probably my favorite one.
I love
There's a
that.
good and
And I,
experimenting what works. But that one I
yeah, you
think
gotta try a couple different things, see what works for you. And I'm really excited. We've got a project that you and I are both working on together.
I'm so excited.
So before we wrap up, let's kind of talk a little bit about that project, and then we'll just figure out how people can get a hold of you. But tell us a little bit how we know
We
each other.
are writing a book together along with 12, wait, am I doing my math right? 12 other
So 10
amazing.
others. So I think it's 12 of us total.
Okay,
Yeah.
so 10 others. Yes. 10 others. Thank you. Correct my math. 10 others. There's 12 of us. We're all writing a book together. And oh, I am so excited. It is all about whatever story that pertains to like freedom in our motherhood. And oh, I'm just so excited to like read yours, to share mine, to listen to everyone
Yes.
else. And I think that like really ties back to this whole community of I'm gonna read your story and I know I'm gonna be like, oh, that's brilliant. I'm gonna implement that tiny little thing. And someone will read mine and someone else's and be like, oh, and really just bring about more freedom in our motherhood. And so yeah, I'm
Mm,
so excited about it.
yeah. So I don't know when it's getting published. I think we all have deadlines in a couple weeks, although I've submitted mine, yay, my chapter, Secrets of Sovereign Mamas. And
Yes.
I think that's going to be the name of the book.
Series one or like something one. Yeah, I think series was the first of the
Mhm.
series. So
First of the series. So keep an eye for that. So we'll keep you posted and we'll have more conversations with maybe some contributors of the book so you guys can get to know everyone. But how can people get a hold of you, Sammy? So if they want to learn about your community, they want to be part of your community, they want to learn about your services, what's the best way for people to get a hold of you?
yeah, Instagram is going to be the best. And it's at Good Enough Matrescence, which I'm sure will be spelled somewhere on here for you to
Hmm.
um but yeah, at Good Enough Matrescence, and feel free to DM me too, especially if anyone's listening and like no matter what stage of life. Like I know most moms on here are probably going through menopause, and I know I cannot relate specifically with that. But we do have resources for that. But I could relate to like other things, like if you're really rageful in menopause and you want to just talk about how freaking angry you are, or like lashing out, like DM me, and I would love to be like, hey, this is what helped me.
Hormones are hormones.
Hormones are
Yep.
hormones. Yeah, the nervous system is the same, like regardless.
Yep.
But yeah, so Instagram would be a really good one to reach out, connect with me there. And then also our website, which again is at goodenoughmatrescence.com. And that's where you can join our community, our collective. And yeah, those would be probably the best way
Wonderful.
to
Well,
reach
I'll
out.
definitely put those in the notes so
Oh,
everyone can
and
get a hold of you. Yeah.
yeah, anyone listening too, I made a special code for you guys. MIM for Mamas in Menopause 20. So MIM 20, and that'll give you 20% off either annual or monthly, and it will renew at that price too. So yeah, so you can check
Awesome.
it out and yeah. There's
Well,
lots of
thank
things
you for the
here too.
gift.
Like I know that we talked a lot about the actual nervous system, which I think is key. I think if we can regulate and work and listen to our nervous system and our subconscious, then we have no problems. Like nothing is a problem anymore. We can figure it out. But there's also like movement in there. We have like personal trainers that like there's lots of things that can help in life. So I just wanted to clarify that if someone's like, I don't need nervous system regulation, but if someone's like, I would love to be doing yoga and strength training for like longevity, we have a personal trainer in there who specifically works with like she wants you to be able to be 80 years old and lift your luggage and put it on an airplane and walk cobblestone streets in Italy without breaking your hip. So like there's like strength training for longevity and things like that. So anyways, just check it out. That's all I'm trying to say.
And pelvic floor, we need that. There's just so many things that, these
Yeah.
specialists and practitioners and providers,
Yeah.
it's not just working with
It's
people
not
of a
just
certain age. Exactly.
But I
You
do
can
love to
blast.
geek out about this. So please, if you want to like geek out about the nervous system and the stories and the reframes, like send me a DM and I would love to dive into it.
Love it. Thank you so, so much. I appreciate you sharing your time. I appreciate you giving all of our listeners a little gift if they want to be part of the community. That's very
Yeah.
gracious. So thank you so, so much for that. And I just want to thank everyone for being here, for joining us for Hot Flashes and Cool Chats. I'm so grateful for our guest for sharing their time and their expertise and her wisdom with us. Of course, if you'd like to connect, we'll put all her information in the show notes. And until next time, remember you are not alone in this midlife journey or younger journey, as we know. And tell me the name again. How do I pronounce um,
Matrescence.
matrescence in the entire matrescence journey? So here's some more hot flashes, cool chats, and meaningful conversations. See you next time.
Thank you.